Welcome back. Happy Sunday. What's going on? What's up, shawties? It's Ashley Hardy, and we are back. And I am just so excited to share this week's video because this week we tried something new. So, if you are new, this journey I am on is called the Fearless Journey, and I am rediscovering myself, doing new things, breaking down barriers, getting over fears and trying new things in my life throughout this year. So, this week, my daughter and I attended a knitting class and it was so fun. So, she actually came to me a few months ago saying, Mom, I really want to learn how to knit. I am interested in that because she has some friends who knit and crochet. And I said, Oh my God, girl, me too. I want to learn. So let me find a class. So few months back, I found us a class and we actually attended this week, and it was great.
We're getting there.
Girl, get your.
And I know I have one more. That one I couldn't get to work. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Oh, that's too bad.
What the heck?
In order to start, the first thing you're going to do is the piece of yarn that's connected to the ball. This is called the working yarn. And that working yarn has to be up at the tip of a needle. So you're going to slide the piece of your work that's connected to the long piece of yarn. You're going to just slide this up to the tip of your needle. Okay? I'm going to let you do that. And that piece then, so once again, I was calling this the front, right? This is facing me. And again, we're always going to work off this piece of yarn that's on top of the needle. So if I tell you that we're going to take our naked needle and put it through the stitch from the front to the back, there is only physically one way you can do that. You have to come to this left side of the stitch. So let me do a couple stitches. There's 4 steps to every stitch. We're going to go in, then, and there is also some logic into keeping them crossed instead of like this. It's easier to work. But I'm going to poke this in. Then this working yarn has to wrap around this needle that I poked in. So now that piece of yarn that's around there, now the big goal is to get that piece of yarn to come back through the hole, right? So I've poked, I've wrapped, I'm going to bring that piece up through the hole, and then I'm going to move this off.
Now, one thing I discovered is that knitting, there is a whole community, okay? I started scrolling and diving into different knit communities and looking up on TikTok and YouTube. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a whole thing. Like, there are podcasts and events hosted for people to just come together and knit and create. And let me tell you something, I was feeling the vibes when we were in there learning, and when I kind of started getting in the rhythm, my fingers started moving. I was like, oh, okay, I can see how this is a thing. I can see how people just kind of lose themselves and enjoy. But it also could be overwhelming. Now, mind you, I'm a beginner, I'm just learning. But learning and kind of remembering the patterns in the stitch, it can drive you a little cray cray, just a little bit. Because if you miss a stitch, and you have a drop stitch. And for those who stitch, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't catch it and you realize while you continue to go and you already a few rows up and then you see, yeah, it would drive you a little crazy. So I did discover that and learn that. So that part of it is not quite fun. So my oldest, which is Eden, she will be turning 10 in May. And This girl is a whole okay character. Okay, her personality is everything. And I, you know, am trying to be very intentional to make sure that me and her are creating moments and opportunities for us to bond and do things with just us, and doing that honestly with all of my children. When you have multiple children, sometimes it gets in a routine or habit to always do things together, but realizing it is very important to do things separately so that you all can still individually create your own relationship, and that bonding experience is not just a part of them being grouped, with their siblings. And so my daughter has been asking for us to have a mommy and daughter day. And here and there, we will have those moments anyway, but they weren't always intentional to say, this is a mommy daughter day. It was just like, okay, we're going to get our nails done. Or, we're going to run errands or something like that. When she said that, I said, okay, we're going to have a mommy daughter day and we're going to learn this new skill together. And she was so excited. And that was a time for us to just, kiki, have a little girl talk, just be us. And it was a great time. So if you are a parent, and especially if you have multiples, definitely prioritize, here and there when you're able to have one-on-one time, even if it's something as simple as you guys grabbing something to eat together, or even in the house, if you're like, okay, me and you, we're gonna watch a movie together or something like that. And it does makes a difference. They see seen, they feel like, I'm an individual, and that's something she expressed to me. So just learning and sharing it with you all.
You are going to go in. Gotta make sure that doesn't slip off. Then take this, we wrap it around. Then this is the slippery part. Oopsie, it's really slippery. I'm gonna bring it up, through, and off. So we go in, wrap, bring up through, and go off. I'm gonna let you struggle for a minute and I'll just keep coming right around the circle. We don't care about that. I'm gonna it'll just be easier to hold this way.
Okay.
There you go, there you go. So stab in from front to back.
Stab in.
And then you take this and wrap it around. Now you're gonna scoop this out and move it off. So stab in.
Stab in.
And then kind of use your, whatever hand you want.
Okay.
Wrap it around. Oh, there we go. One thing that has to be done in knitting, you have to come counterclockwise.
Okay.
So come around the left-hand side of the needle. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And then scoop it up through.
Ah,
Good, good. You got it. Yes. And move it off.
move it off.
Okay.
Now, with this knitting class, so we came in. Now, it's so funny because when we showed up, I was filming, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna capture the moment. I want to share this with the fam, right? So, literally, as we pull it up, I saw that on the sign it says close. I was like, oh, why is this close? No, I know I didn't get this mixed out. I done spent my money and I got a reminder, all this stuff, and I see it say closed. So I was literally about to have a heart attack because I'm like, I know I didn't drive all this way, spend my money, and I got scammed or something. That was the first thought that came to my mind. And then I realized like they just put the sign on the door so people know the store itself was closed because the class was hosted inside of a like yarn shop, and two businesses actually occupy this space, and they have separate classes for like knitting, crocheting, sewing, all kinds of things. So we go in and we were two of the five in total who was actually attending the group, and the woman who was overseeing and owned the shop, who was overseeing the class, she was such a light, funny, very down to earth, and it was very hands-on. It was very casual, relaxed. She went around, was showing us the different steps. She was very patient because you need patience learning this. I constantly was messing up, like forgetting. But what's so funny, she taught us a way to remember one of the stitch patterns, which was like, so she taught us a little catchy way to remember the stitch pattern. And just a disclaimer, if you don't like the gruesome, gory types of things when it comes to violence, this may not work for you, but it was kind of easier to remember when you thought of it this way. And she was like, stab it, strangle it, scoop out the guts, and throw it over the bridge. And that literally helped me remember what process to do when doing a stitch. So if you are trying to learn how to stitch, remember that.
Yeah. And like English style. English style. You're holding in the right hand. Come around here. It's easy to show this tension. Come this way down. She will. Well, I think in the two. That's a perfect station. All that.
Go on the left
Go
side
in.
there.
Yep, there you go.
Through.
Now take your hand and wrap this around
Your right
counterclockwise.
hand all the way back here.
Yep, good.
Like
Good.
that.
Okay. Now you gotta kind of give it a little curve of the middle. And then bring this needle
Just one
up
time.
through.
Now that we have experienced our first knitting class, I am definitely down to keep it going. So, my daughter and I went to Five Below and purchased these little itty bitty knitting kits to keep it going, practicing us, creating things and continue to develop the skill because you got to keep it going. That class, it was a great beginning class, but trust me, I need another class, two, three, four, five, maybe to help me remember. But we got these so we can practice. So we actually started doing some a little bit yesterday. And of course, I'm going to be on YouTube University. Looking at some other knitting channels to help us remember. And I am just so excited, like just to have something else, that I'm learning and then doing it with my daughter is what's making this even a greater experience. So, if you're interested, if you have children, or if you want to have a girls' night or something, I think if you're interested in learning a new skill, or if you already know but you want to do some type of event or something around this, I think you should check these out. I know also like Walmart have these, but you can also search them and see if you're interested. I want to say that I'm just proud of me, okay? Because I once again am being intentional to break outside of my comfort zone and try new things. And when you do that, you learn a lot about yourself. And one thing that I learned about myself is when I am intentional to have the right mindset, to have fun, to be open, I enjoy myself. And I am also setting an example for my daughter to always learn, always have an openness and willingness to learn new things and to have fun and to figure out what excites you and brings you joy and how that also can impact others and bring excitement and just be in a moment. Um, And hopefully you enjoyed this video. And I encourage you to do something fun, find that class that you're interested in, find a skill, sign up for something that you want to learn, and try it. You never know if you're going to like it. I truly enjoy it, and I definitely will be continuing to, develop this skill and having fun with it. And I'm going to be showing you guys. So, now mind you, we are very busy. It is hard with being a mom of three, working, business, all the things to actually, be able to do things consistently, finding time. So I can't say when we're going to be finishing these, but I will keep you guys posted on our progress if we finish them, when we finish them, what they are going to turn out like. Okay, so stay tuned for that in the near future. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Make sure you tune in next Sunday. Every Sunday, new videos drop. Join the fearless journey with me. Until next time, see you later. Bye.